Institute, our translator of the Quran, a historic personality. Please welcome Dr. Musharraf Hussain Al-Azhari.
Alhamdulillah wa kafa wa salamun ala ibadihi alladhina istafa khususan ala ashrafil anbiya'i wal mursalin wa ala alihi wa ashabihi wa azwajihi wa dhurriyyatihi ajma'in amma ba'd fa'a'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim bismillahir rahmanir rahim ya ayyuhan nas قد جاءتكم موعظة من ربكم وشفاء لما في الصدور وهدى ورحمة للمؤمنين صدق الله مولانا العظيم وبلغنا رسوله النبي الكريم. My respected Sheikh and Eminence Dr. Ibrahim Najab, the Lord Mayor, Janab Sayyid Lafdeh Hasnain Shah Sahib, and my sisters and brothers, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I feel very humble, and really grateful to all of you for showing this respect and showing this love for the Quran, really. And I made it very clear to all of my staff that this evening is about the glorious Quran. It is about doing something very important for the glorious Quran so that we may become the true heirs of the Quran, so that we may not be amongst those people about whom this was Allama Mahir al-Qadri, was it? Or Iqbal's Mahir al-Qadri, yeah, this is Allama Mahir al-Qadri's poem, in which he was just explaining what the Quran had said. وَقَالَ الرَّسُولُ يَا رَبِّ إِنَّ قَوْمِ اتَّخَذُوا هَذَا الْقُرْآنَ مَهْجُورًا. The Prophet ﷺ will say, "Oh Lord, my people abandoned the Quran." And here, Allama Mahir al-Qadri rahmatullah alayhi is actually sort of unpacking that verse and saying all those things that we do, but we fail to really understand the powerful, life-changing message of this great book. This book that takes us لِتُخْرِجَ النَّاسَ مِنَ الظُّلُمَاتِ إِلَى النُّورِ, the book that takes you out of darkness into light, the book that gives us hope, the book that says وَأَنْتُمُ الْأَعْلَوْنَ, you are the exalted, you are the most highest, you are the most powerful as long as you have faith. The book that is constantly reminding us and giving us the roadmap to true success and salvation. قَدْ أَفْلَحَ الْمُؤْمِنُونَ الَّذِينَ هُمْ فِي صَلَاتِهِمْ خَاشِعُونَ. Indeed, the believers are prosperous. The believers are successful. Those focused in performing their prayer and so on. It's an uplifting book, but at the same time, it's a book that really connects us to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And you can't actually have that unless you understand its message. And in our age is an age of science and technology. Our age is an age of rationality. Our age is an age in which we search for logical and reasonable answers. We always ask this. It's an age of why. Why do we do this? Give me a reason for it. And we live in an age and we live amongst people who are also very reasonable. The British people are people of reason, people of logic. And the West as a whole, its educational philosophy is actually based on reason. And what we need to say to them is, you have reason, but here is the revelation from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that will open up the mysteries of life. Again, we live in an age which is actually very hungry, an age that is actually searching for truth. And we believe, قُلْ جَاءَ الْحَقِّ. The truth has actually come. This is the truth. But this truth has to be made clear. And who's going to do that? Allah is not going to send another prophet. No angels are going to come down to do this work. This is the work of the Ummah of Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam. And it is also really the responsibility of, more so of us, who live here in the West, all of us. So I have always, alhamdulillah, I've been teaching the Quran for more than 45 years now. And I've used all sorts of translations. The very first edition of Azur Qibla Ziaul Ummat's Tafsir Ziaul Quran came out in 3 small volumes printed by Ghulam Rasul and Sons. And I remember reading that, later on teaching that, although my own Urdu was poor in those days, but still I taught it, which was and I used to read Zahar, this is early, in the 70s. So I had this great love, Abdullah Yusuf Ali's, Mahmudi Pickthall's, and of course since last 12 years, Abdul Halim's. I have taught these, and I really, what I found was, whenever I gave anybody a translation to read, they would only read it for a few seconds, literally, and then they put it away. And one of my dear friends, Dr. Mustafa Draper, who is the professor at Birmingham University of Islamic Studies, he tells me that anybody who asks him what translation they read, his students, he says to them, none. And this is a serious scholar of Islam, a very serious person who teaches. He says it is, none of them has that standard or, something that he could recommend. He doesn't want to take responsibility of recommending them. That is how stringent and strict he is. But when I gave him my translation last year, he took it, and after some time he replied, and not only that, but actually became a proofreader. Now he's doing the proofreading of it and helping me to make sure that we deliver something wonderful. Now, I'm not in any way being negative about our translators. The work Pickthall did nearly 100 years ago in the most difficult situation is just amazing, incredible. And same with Abdullah Yusuf Ali. What he did was amazing. And so it applies to all the translators, what hard work they did, and it made my job very much easy. However, I grew up in British schools. I went to schools here, and the way we think, the way we read, the way we look at books here is very different from those olden days. Nowadays, the job of a teacher is to make learning easy. It is not about making learning difficult, but it's about making it as easy as possible and ensuring that the students actually understand. This is one very important feature of British education, that everything that we teach must be understood. And of course, this is nothing new or nothing British. This is actually Muhammadan way, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. We know in a hadith that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to teach the Sahaba. What did he used to teach them? He used to teach them one verse, and then would listen and ask them and test them. Once they knew that, then they would proceed further. Meaning that he wanted them to both memorize, read, understand, and apply it in their deen. But not only there, then he would say, بَلِّغُوا عَنِّي وَلَوْ كَانَ آيَةً. Deliver and pass on to others, even if it is one verse. So here, we see this relationship of reading, of understanding, of reflecting, of applying, and then of propagating, of spreading it. And I hope that inshallah we want to start this movement. This is our movement, that let us once again go back to the way of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Let's go back to this great book, which we desperately need. We need this guidance today. And the non-Muslims, when we present them the Quran, as it is sadly in most cases, they become very confused. And because we are used to reading in small bite sizes, okay, small paragraphs, small sections, and not only that, but we want to be helped to understand what that paragraph is about, so we always have headings. You know, that there would be no textbooks. There are no textbooks which do not have at least 2 or 3 headings per page. That is how you write textbooks. I had the privilege of learning that from a very experienced editor, and my book, Beliefs and Religions and Belief, is actually taught in Key Stage 3 in secondary schools and published by Oxford Press. And that is how they taught us. Look, this is how we do textbooks. This is how the modern education system is. Therefore, you know, if we want to influence people, we have to present them something that they are familiar with. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam used the language, the Quran's language was very contemporary. When the Arabs heard the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam read the Quran, they would be absolutely, you know, stunned. They would be mesmerized. They would really be impressed to such an extent that, you know, they began to say, oh, he's a poet, you know, this is why it sounds so beautiful. You know, or that he has some very wonderful teacher, or he has some other mysterious people giving him this. You know, they were so impressed with it. And why can't we do that in English? Of course we can do it, alhamdulillah. And our mashallah translators have done a good job, no doubt. But what I have tried to do is make sure that we don't use archaic. Archaic means old, ancient English. English, as you know, is developing and evolving rapidly. And, you know, the new words they add to it is just amazing. Hundreds of new words every year are created, okay? And the old words become archaic, out of use. And so it's really important to be contemporary. But what I've tried to, one other thing I've tried very hard to do in my translation is to show that every surah is actually a unit in itself. And it has a beginning, a middle, and an end. And, you know, a 7 or 8-year-old child, when he's in Key Stage 2 in primary school, the teachers tell them, we want you to write a story. But remember, your story must have a beginning, it must have a middle, it must have an end. So that is in our psyche from childhood, that any writing must be like that. If it isn't, it's a poor writing. It's not worth reading. And this is how, alhamdulillah, you know, the glorious Quran is very coherent. It is very well linked, and it is very well develops. You know, there is a gradual development of the subject matter in every surah. I've been able to show that, and this is a big growing area of research amongst the mufassirin and the ulama, alhamdulillah now. There's a lot of work to show this coherence within the surahs. And then, of course, there is coherence between surahs as well. How surahs, why they are there where they are. There is a reason, and again, that's another area. But what I want to really, you know, share with you is, you know, what a great, magnificent book this is, which Allah has blessed us with. And one of my, you know, some of my aims have, I've put them down more eloquently here in one of the interviews I did, and I want to share that with you. So my aim in translating the Quran into plain English has been to produce a translation that is clear, therefore easy to understand, a joy to read, so that the reader says, I get it. Bring the word of Allah alive and make it in everyday language. I want simply a reader-friendly Quran that reaches into the reader's minds and hearts, useful for a sincere seeker, so that he can find the life-enhancing truth in its pages. And the section headings break up the message into bite-size, making it easy to understand. And what is the message of the Quran? You know, I was very privileged for 3 years that I could spend, my day and night, and I dreamt about the Quran as well. I was correcting the Quran in my dreams on many occasions, just got stuck on the computer in my dreams, alhamdulillah, many times. So I've been reflecting on what is the Quran about? How would I, if anybody asks me, what are the main subjects of the Quran? What is it talking? And I've come up with these 6, I believe, are the key subjects of the glorious Quran. The main topics, the concepts that the Quran wants to get across to its readers. First, it is Allah is the supreme Lord and the creator of the universe. That is what the Quran is really about. It is the central theme is all about Allah. It's the mighty Lord. Okay, no compromise with anybody and none, because He is the Quran, the Great. Okay, He talks in the most sternest language, but also He talks in the most loving language as well. He talks about the beauty, the scenes of paradise which are delightful, which are really enticing. And it also talks about the terror, the horror of hell, which really makes you cry and fearful. Really, it's about the Supreme Lord. The second subject is the beloved Messenger, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, who's presented by the Quran as the perfect model, uswatun hasana. Third subject is the life of the hereafter, is the final destination of humanity. And here lies I think, the great attraction and the spirituality of the Quran. We live in a material society, very materialistic society. Materialistic society, what I mean by that is, we believe in the power of material things. We believe in the power of the atom. We believe in the power of the molecules. We believe in the power of these physical things. Isn't that true? Even we do. We as believers, sadly, we're overwhelmed by them to such an extent that we are intoxicated and trapped by this physical, material world. Seriously. And as a consequence, they say that when you are impoverished, or you lack something, or something is missing, there is a yearning for it. So yes, we are materialistic. We live in a very materialistic age, but there is yearning for spirituality. There is a yearning for the other, because we've got this material thing. And this is why, presenting the Quran with its meanings is so important, because it is only through its meanings that you will be able to overcome the power of wealth, the power of material things, and in this case, Surah Al-Kahf is a very beautiful example of the clash of materialism with spirituality. Anyway, I did a very beautiful introduction to it, talking about this, and inshallah, when you read it, you will come across that. The fourth, very important, I believe, the message and the topics and the themes of the Quran is really morality, moral values. Values are rules that guide your thinking. And that is what the Quran is about. The Quran is about guiding our way of thinking, the mode of thinking. And it's actually about programming us to be kind, generous, loving, forgiving, patient, modest, humble, grateful, appreciative, thankful. That is the mindset the Quran teaches. Wallah, that is it. It keeps on reminding. That is why it keeps on saying, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Every surah begins with it. And Ar-Rahman and Ar-Rahim. The most kind, the most caring. Okay? So the Quran has this great emphasis on moral values and developing the character and the way we think in those beautiful, those powerful things. The fifth subject that I believe, the Quran keeps on emphasizing is connecting humanity with Allah through spiritual ideals, the dhikr, the taqwa. The Quran reminds us again and again about, and the zikr. So the sixth and the last subject, I think the Quran really hones on and talks a lot about is that human beings are blessed with huge potential. And here lies this very positive view that Quran has of humanity, and this positivity that it's always giving us, that antumul a'laun, لقد كان لقد خلقنا الإنسان في أحسن تقويم ولقد قربنا بني آدم. All that positivity, the goodness, and that's a fact, that human beings are endowed with this huge ability. The Quran keeps on reminding us, you have huge potential to achieve. Anyway, these are some of my thoughts on the message of the Quran. But what I want to begin, and I hope inshallah, and why Karima Institute and Dr. Najar is sort of blessing us with, and all of you I hope will be, let us start a movement of understanding the Quran. Let us begin to, all of us resolve that, even if I read one verse or two verses or a page, I will try to understand what my Lord is saying to me. It sometimes embarrasses me hugely when I'm with Christian friends who say to me, these are practicing Christians, not vicars, not trained in there, and they can tell me, in Matthew 6, verse 10, Christ said this. And the Mark's Gospel gives us this sermon of Christ. When was it last you heard your friend and colleague Muslim telling you, in Surah Al-Baqarah verse 180, Allah says this. There is this story about Ayyub alayhi salam, or this story about so and so. It's rare, isn't it? Why? Because we have just restricted ourselves to the qiraat, to the tilawat of Quran, which of course is blessing, but it is not the only, it is the first stage of the 5 stages. Can we move on to the next one, inshallah? And the next, and the next, and the 5th one is what we need to do, all of us. As I said to you, our aim of doing this project is really, we're going to have a hardback copy which will have Arabic on one page, the translation on the opposite, with all those beautiful 1,500 headings, and this is going to be really high quality, inshallah, printing, which we're going to have done in Turkey. This will be for Muslims, but we are going to have a paperback with only English in it, and that English, I mean English. There will be no Musa in it, it will be Moses. There will be no Isa, it will be Jesus. And there will be, we won't use Allah, we will use God. Why? I want to give the message. I don't want people to be confused with, what is this Allah? These are not Muslims, haven't got a clue. What is Isa or Musa? No, we use their language. We want to get the message of it. We want them to get to the message and not get trapped in the, and put up barriers before they even go to the message. So inshallah, that will be for a big project for Dawah. We want to give those Qurans to the schools, to colleges. And I'll tell you, inshallah, Aziz, the way we're going to present it is, this is going to be the way that they read their textbooks. They will read it, inshallah, and there will be an impact. And I ask you all, inshallah, to make dua, as well as, support us. Because without that support, we can't do such a big project. And we're hoping to, inshallah, set up International Quran Society, whose aim will be, we're hoping, 1 million copy in the first 5 years, inshallah, Aziz. And this will be a great dawah project. We're also hoping, inshallah, this mode of translation, this way of translation, because all I've had is hundreds of people, literally, I've got many emails, whoever I give this to says, wow, this is proper, this is the way we should have the Quran translations done. And we're hoping, inshallah, we'll do one in Chinese, one in Spanish, and one, inshallah, Aziz, even in Urdu. I'm hoping, through these 4 languages, we will cover almost 80% of the world's people, inshallah, Aziz. So make dua. This is my dream, and I hope it's a dream that you, all of my friends, my Mazis, my students, and I hope I love you, and I hope I'm your beloved as well, inshallah, Aziz. We will work together as one people, inshallah. And this great city of Nottingham has, many awliya. It is an innovator of many, many things, this wonderful city, and this will be another of those. A great English translation which fits and which is suitable for our times. So I need your du'as and I need your support, I need your help. Jazakallah khair. Thank you very much, everybody.
As Dr. Musharraf mentioned,